What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome back to another video here on Pig City Hockey. Now, there are still a lot of questions going into this 2021-2022 NHL season for the Winnipeg Jets, even though that almost every one of us as fans can unanimously agree that this has been the year that they have made all the moves to go all in and try to win a Stanley Cup. There are still some questions about what this lineup will look like come puck drop in Game 1 in just a few weeks away, really, because we're almost halfway through September at the time of recording, and I can't believe that we're so close to already the preseason starting up. Training camp will be underway. I think it's going underway right now. So it's all kind of crept up on me really fastly. And now we're going to talk about what this team's offensive lineup will look like. I'm going to split this video into two parts. Instead of trying to cram it all into a 15-minute video and have all these facts, I'm going to break them down into two parts where we focus one on the potential offensive lineups and the defensive pairings. So we're going to have two videos talking about the lineups. Goaltending I don't have to say because you already know it's going to be Connor Hellebuyck, Eric Comrie, and potentially another backup added to this roster depending on how Eric Comrie performs. That's all we need to know about goaltending. It's been set in stone for a long time. There's a reason why there's a Vezina goaltending winner jet back. Look at that right there. I don't even need to say anything. I don't think we need to talk about goaltender when we got a Vezina banner hanging in the back. But either way, we got to talk about the offense because there are a lot of questions going through this team. What will the offense look like? Is Cole Perfetti going to make this team? How many young guys will we see actually earn a roster spot? So without any further ado, I want to start this off with the top line, go from line to line, break down what I think my thoughts are on it, and also the possibilities we could see of the variations of these lines going into the season. So without any further ado, make sure to subscribe regardless of the team that you root for. I'm just a biased Jets fan who loves sharing his thoughts on all things hockey related. So if you'd like to see a different fan's perspective from time to time, definitely consider dropping a subscription. Also, we just crossed over 1,700 subscribers. We're approaching that 2K subscriber mark. I just want to thank all of you guys so much for the support. It means the world to me. It really does. I had no idea that this channel would ever take off like that. I started it in quarantine just to, pass the time and talk hockey, and it became something I never thought it would. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for all the support you've given the channel over the last, I guess, 8 months it feels like, because it's just crazy how all of this stuff has happened from last season to where we are now. So without any further ado, let's jump in and talk about line 1. So jumping into the first lineup, we're going to be talking about what I think it should be, and that, in my opinion, is this is the year that Blake Wheeler drops down from that first line. In my opinion, if the Winnipeg Jets want to have the most success they can next year, just purely based off of the offensive stars they have, using Blake Wheeler at a different speed with different line mates is going to be very crucial to the success these players have. So I think rolling with the first line of Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Nikolai Ehlers is going to be the Jets' best options for trying to put up the most amount of points and utilizing the skill that they have within those top three forwards. It's not a knock on Blake Wheeler. When you get older, your skills aren't the same. And obviously Blake Wheeler at 35 years old or however old he is, isn't going to be playing at that same skill speed he had when he was getting back-to-back 91 points 4 years ago. So because of that, dropping him down with a slower line, a bunch of line mates that played more to his speed and to his strengths, I think would be better. Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor can fly, so Nikolai Ehlers, obviously being the fastest jet on the team, should play on that line as well, I believe, and I think that is going to be the best bet moving forward. Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor have already had an immense amount of success when they've been played together, and Blake Wheeler at times has really slowed that line down. I know that there are a lot of Jets fans that don't even want to see Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele play together, but I think keeping those players together, a top goal scorer with another top elite goal scorer, a playmaking center, and a guy like Nikolai Ehlers, who is an all-around fantastic guy that can play anywhere in your lineup and be effective. I don't care what anyone says. If Nikolai Ehlers played on the fourth line, he'd still be an all-star because of how good he is. He can be utilized anywhere, and I think it's time that we utilize him as a top first-line winger. Now, obviously, that first line could be up for variation because now with the acquisition of Paul Stastny coming back to this team, Blake Wheeler obviously being the captain, there is a lot of questions up about that first line. Even though I think that there could be different variations with maybe even Andrew Kopp jumping into that first line, I think that would be the best bet to move forward with is what I just said with the Kyle Connor, Scheifele, and Ehlers and bumping Blake Wheeler down to that second line. I think that is crucial for the Jets' success this year if Wheeler is not a top-line player. Play him on the second line, use his strengths better, and don't slow down your top offensive units. Now we're jumping to the second line right now, and the second line is one that I had a lot of really hard time honestly putting together, and I had a few different variations of it. But what I think the best bet to start the year with is Andrew Kopp playing on that second line with Pierre-Luc Dubois and Blake Wheeler. Now obviously Andrew Kopp had an amazing season last year, and even though I still think that he isn't necessarily an amazing top six option, I do think using him and trying to get as much as you can out of that last 1 year on his contract before he goes to unrestricted free agency is going to be very crucial for the success that the Jets have this year. And honestly, PLD, you guys know how I feel about him. I'm not a big fan, even though I know he's a good player. He was just not what I wanted him to be last year at all. He never got really better for the Jets. If anything, he got worse. So he's due for an immense improvement from last season. And I feel like Andrew Kopp, PLD, and Blake Wheeler all have the same type of slower, really open type of play style where they can really make space out of anything, good passing plays. Andrew Kopp can finish dirty in the front, PLD can get a good shot, make good passes, and Blake Wheeler isn't the greatest finisher, but any one of those guys can score a goal from Blake Wheeler, because Blake Wheeler can find you in the perfect spot, the perfect moment, and get across through 5 different players at once from ice to ice. I think that he is perfect for that line, and I really think that second line could be a really deadly option to have there as well. And the other option they have to talk about is going over to the extras side is Cole Perfetti. Now, Cole Perfetti is a very interesting case because, honestly, based off of the last season he had with the Moose last year and how he feels right now, the skills he's showing, his confidence, I think there's a very good chance this kid makes the Winnipeg Jets this year. Now, I'm not putting anything in stone because really with Paul Maurice and how he likes to utilize rookies, I have no idea. I thought that after Ville Heinola came in during, his rookie year 2 years ago and played the way he did in his first 7 games, I thought for sure he had earned a spot, and Paul Maurice didn't even use him as a full-time guy last year. Hell, he barely played even 8 games, if I'm not mistaken. So, when I look at that and I see Cole Perfetti, how much he wants to make this team as an offensive unit, our top prospect, there's a good chance he makes this team. Now, if Cole Perfetti makes the team, he could easily play within that first line. And if he plays on that, not the first line, he could play on that second line where Andrew Kopp is. I think that would be a really good line to have a goal-scoring, young, fast winger in Cole Perfetti, and a guy that can play center as well. PLD, a great vision center who has got good offensive instincts, can drive the play really well. I think that would be a good type of option to have for a guy like Perfetti on the wing. And then Blake Wheeler, that veteran leadership, help mentor Cole Perfetti's game, and also have him feeding type of shots to Cole Perfetti, who's got a wicked wrister, a great slap shot. That would be a perfect balance of deadliness and effectiveness with veterans and young players, and I think that could be a really good mix for the Jets moving forward next season. And then if you're going to have Cole Perfetti make that top 6, then you could bop down Andrew Kopp and have Andrew Kopp play on the third line with Lowry and Stastny, which we're going to be getting into right now. So talking about the lineup card for the third line, right now, as you can see, I've got Paul Stastny playing with Andrew Kopp and Christian Vesalainen. Now, in any second, that's just the way I think it'll be right now. But like I was saying, if Perfetti makes that team, you drop Andrew Kopp down to where Paul Stastny is right now. You switch Paul Stastny with Christian Vesalainen, and that is a loaded third line for a ton of offense, good defensive possession, and just great overall two-way hockey. Paul Stastny, even at his old age last year, played fantastic everywhere in the lineup, from the third line to the first line. If he had chemistry with some guy, it didn't matter how much ice time he had, they were going to make it work, and that's exactly what he did. So that could easily be a potential option, but I think, honestly, to start the year, Christian Vesalainen deserves a shot with this team, so I think a third line of Paul Stastny, veteran leadership, a guy who can still play, Adam Lowry, a guy who's also becoming a veteran with this team, has spent his whole career, recently signed that pretty good extension. I think that would be a really good mix, and I think Christian Vesalainen has the potential to become the next type Andrew Kopp. He's a great power forward with a hell of a shot, good offensive instincts, so putting him on a third line, giving him an actual NHL-capable job this year, I think would be really good for his development. Now, obviously, like I said, Cole Perfetti could come in and bump out Christian Vesalainen, but the other big thing that you have to talk about this year is Evgeny Svechnikov over there in that extra spot. If Evgeny Svechnikov makes this team, he is a complete wild card. You don't know what you're going to get with him. He hasn't really proven at the NHL level because he hasn't been given a proper opportunity. So if you take out Christian Vesalainen and you put in Evgeny Svechnikov, you could either get a really good player in Evgeny Svechnikov or a guy who still needs more time to develop with the Moose, or maybe a failed prospect. It doesn't know. But the point is that you have options down at that third line with young potential players that could be game-changing for your future, and I think having to pick between either Vesalainen or Evgeny Svechnikov is a pretty damn good situation to find yourself in if you're Paul Maurice. Now we're getting into the fourth line, and the fourth line is very interesting because not recently I should say, but one of the first re-signs that the Jets did was keeping Dominic Toninato on a 2-year, two-way contract. Now, Dominic Toninato came in with the Jets late last season, played pretty damn good in the regular season, and also had a goal in the playoffs and was super clutch in that Edmonton round one in game 1 and 2. He looked great, so I think that there could be a chance he makes this team. You know how Paul Maurice likes to handle guys that are more of a grit player, and obviously Toninato, I believe at 27 years old, isn't a bum. He's not 35. He isn't a guy with no potential to grow, so I wouldn't be completely against having him come into that fourth line, but I think this year is the year that we see David Gustafsson push into that fourth line spot and be that center, not to mention talking about Riley Nash, the other acquisition the Jets had as well. When you go over to the lineup card that I have right now, I personally think that this will be the best option for the Jets to start the season next year. Jansen Harkins coming in on that left wing, David Gustafson centering it with Riley Nash for veteran leadership, a defensive presence as well, with all these guys being defensive type forwards. I think that this would be a great fourth line, and honestly one of the best fourth lines the Jets have rolled out in recent years. Jansen Harkins has good energy, he's got some offensive skill, and is great defensively, and I would love to have him there. He plays hard every shift, he checks hard, and is the exact type of young fourth line guy that you want to have come in and develop into that bottom six forward at an NHL level. David Gustafson is a very interesting piece, because honestly, you could have made the argument that last year he deserved to be in the NHL, but I think giving him that one extra year to season down there in the A and letting him play over in Liga before he came over with the COVID issues and actually got with the Moose, I think that this is a year where David Gustafson has to make the NHL. He's without a doubt an NHL capable center. Look at all the numbers he's been able to put up across all the different leagues and play styles that he's had to deal with, from men to juniors to everything. He has been great at every level recently, and I think putting him on that fourth line, centering it with Harkins and then a veteran presence in Riley Nash, a guy who is not offensively gifted at all, but defensively is one of the best bottom six forwards in the NHL. So that could be great reliability to have for someone to be that defensive for a bunch of young guys trying to make the team, and I think that that would really, really plug up well. Now, obviously, like I said, you could go over to that extra pile, pluck up Dominic Toddonato and slot him in there for Jansen Harkins, depending on how Paul Maurice wants to use rookies this year. We know in the past he hasn't been a big rookie type guy, but I think that this year is the year that we use the best skill that we have. I think Paul really sees that this is what the best team that we've had ever when you think about the offense we have, and I genuinely mean that. So I think that this year, that type, Jansen Harkins coming in there with Gustafson and Riley Nash, I think that is the way to go. Now, obviously, those three extras could really come in and change the game, but the core lineup, I believe, will stay very similar to what you see on screen right now. And that's basically going to wrap it up. I think that this is the year where the Jets really need to go and plug in some youth, because they have a ton of youth that isn't just a prospect anymore, in my opinion, because they're guys that have proven that they can do everything right as a prospect, and they need to be given a look. You can't justify a prospect as a bust or a guy that doesn't deserve to be NHL ready without giving him a proper look at the NHL, and I feel like this is the year that Paul Maurice really does that with some of these younger guys that we've seen jump into the lineup at times. Christian Vesalainen, David Gustafson, Jansen Harkins, etc. are due. They will definitely make this team, I believe. They are very hard-working, not to mention the fact that Cole Perfetti is another young prospect who is, even though he's new to that list of guys trying to get in, he will be trying as hard as well. This is the year that the Jets, I believe, will push a little bit of youth forward. I think they're really basing their model for success, trying to go after what the Habs did last year, youth and veteran, trying to find that perfect blend and try to capitalize off of all the prospects that they have and also the ELCs that they're on. So I think that this is the year that the Jets really make that forward push. Now, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below about what you think about my predictions on these lineups, and I would love to hear yours. Preseason is going to be starting up pretty damn soon, so we'll be able to get an idea of what prospects will be playing where and what type of usage they'll be getting based off how Paul uses them. So we'll be able to see more exactly what the lineups will be looking like coming into then. But for right now, I think this is a pretty good estimate of what the lineup and this team will look like at Puck Drop in Game 1. So without any further ado, thank you so much for watching this video. Peace, love, and positivity to all you beautiful people out there in the world. Make sure to comment your lineups down in the description comment section below. Go down to that description, follow me on Twitter, and also check out all my other affiliated links. Follow me on Instagram, follow my Twitter, and also just have a great rest of your day. With all that being said, peace, love, and positivity, like I already said. I'm repeating myself, but it doesn't matter because you guys know I already do that at the end of the videos because I like to ramble a little bit. So thanks for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, and more importantly, go Jets, go!